Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and today we're testing at 40 meters 3 arrows. So we're comparing the VAPs with the Impulse vanes to the Griffin vanes with VAPs to the Pandarus 320 Elites. Now the Elites are barreled and they're heavier. Now through the chronograph, the VAP shot 221 feet per second and the Pandarus shot about 200 feet per second. So it's around, 20 feet per second, which is significant for me. So I'm like, well, let's see how these arrows shoot. Now I'm also interested in the Griffin versus the Impulse. Now I've done reviews on that before, but these are new arrows, new spines. So I'm like, I'm a bit concerned about shooting distance. So I'm getting back to shooting target recurve archery. And I've got to shoot 90 meters to compete at the state level. So I'm interested in speed and how the arrow weight affects downstream, down distance, the grouping on the targets, and whether I can hit the target at 90 meters and 70 meters. So that's what we're going to just test today. 3 arrows. So I really like the Impulse vanes for indoors. So I really like that. And there's a whole bunch of people who said, look, spin wings don't really work until you get at distance, because that's when the spin wing starts to work. So the same would apply to the Griffin vane. So you really need to test it at distance. So here we go. So this is a Pandarus. So the arrow is heavier, so I'd expect this to hit low on the target. But hopefully the purpose of this is to show you how low it hits, and then hopefully it hits the target. And then hopefully we can see the grouping in it. So I'm really liking, this is a Pandarus as well. I'm really liking the Pandarus arrow. So it's basically the same as like an X10. Now Pandarus make a whole bunch of arrows. They claim to be the biggest arrow manufacturer in China. They make these arrows. These are an aluminium core with carbon on the outside. They make them in a barrel shape, they make them parallel, and they make them like a Pro Tool, which is fat at one end, thin at the other end. So you basically choose as the buyer of these arrows how you want them made. They also make solid carbon arrows. They make carbon arrows in 3.2, 4.2, all the sort of other arrows you can imagine. And they make them for lots of different companies. So if you see an arrow, so this is a VAP with Impulse. So if you see an arrow on the market, it may be made by them and just rebranded. So the owner's really talkative. So he talks to me a lot. So about arrows, different types of carbon, all of which I know nothing about. So basically, there's different types of carbon. The more expensive carbon is lighter. So he said, if you use a more expensive carbon, then it's lighter and hence more. So the more expensive carbon, the lighter the arrow will be. The heavier the arrow, the cheaper the carbon.
I get all the time questions from people about target make, shooting distance. Look, don't shoot a distance you're not comfortable. I would not be shooting 90 meters if I didn't have a choice.
This is a Pandarus as well. Now I'm using the same nocks with these arrows. These are Fivics large groove nock. Just to take away that these arrows all have 120 grain points, so that's the same. So basically the only difference is the shaft. What I'm interested to test, and I've obviously just started, I'm interested to test arrows at 70 meters, which are lighter and a heavier point, lighter with a lighter point, and just sort of see how the grouping goes and see which one's more forgiving to shoot. I watched a video from, I was going to say Brady Ellison, but it's the Jake Kaminsky. He shoots 100 grain points. He said that's all he can shoot. So. find, so I did most of my practice at home, so another VAP, with indoors, and at closer distance, I seem to get the shot off cleaner and better at home. Here at distance, I seem to be aiming harder, I seem to be lifting the shoulder more, so obviously I have to practice and build confidence outdoors more than indoors. I shoot indoors to keep my strength up, but I have to start doing this as well. And I'm going to say something about that. So I get all the time questions from people about target panic, shooting distance. Look, don't shoot a distance you're not comfortable at. I would not be shooting 90 meters if I didn't have a choice. In fact, I wouldn't be shooting 70 meters if I had a choice. I'd be working my way back. So I'd be like shooting 30 meters until I'm like all in the gold. And I mean, completely confident. Then I'd be going back to 40, all in the gold. Get confidence. And this would take me time. And this is the way the Koreans do it. They gradually work their archers back in distance. I mean, the way Australians do it, and I've said this before, we go back to 70 meters, can't shoot for... And then, you know, all the problems develop. The shoulders lift, form falls apart, we start snap shooting, we're moving our front arm as we're releasing the shot. It's a whole lot of bad. I mean, I had a plan when I started this, and that was to build up my strength. I've got to get fitter, so I've definitely got to increase my cardio. I've still got to increase my shoulders and overall strength so my body doesn't fail. And I've got to shoot more. Alright, let's go and take a look at those arrows. Okay, so I'm up here at the target, and obviously I can't see my arrows from behind. You can see the Pandarus arrows. Like, I can put my fingers around them, so it's a nice tight group. Okay. The Victory VAPs with the Impulse vanes, nice tight group. But you can see the difference, and this is at 40 meters, it's significant. But look at, like, I found the VAPs and the Pandarus arrows group very similar for me. But look at these Griffin, the Griffin veins. They're up here, and obviously I can't get, you know, my hands around them. But they are higher in the target. So, look, eventually I'm going to go back to spin wings and try those again. And one of my staff who's an archer, said he was told by Simon Fairweather, look, the only thing to do is put spin wings on. There's no question about this. That's the only vane which would work for Recuve. Which is good, but did you test all the other stuff? Like, I don't know how much testing archers do, and maybe they do lots of testing. I want to know stuff. I want to know this versus this. I want to know groups. I want to know stuff. I'm not one of those people who goes, look, you tell me this and I believe it. I want to go and see stuff. I want to tell me that there's a points difference between X10s and VAPs, and tell me you score about 10 points higher for a whatever. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's see if that applies for me, and if it does, well, then I'll be obviously changing. I'm very happy with that. Now, the difference here at 40 meters is immense. And the speed difference, 20 feet per second, this is really going to start to take an impact for me at the longer distances. So at the moment, the way I'm feeling is I'm going to get sight settings for both arrows. I'm going to get sight settings for the VAPs and the Pandarus arrows, and I'm going to shoot the Pandarus arrows probably at the shorter distances. And I'm probably going to shoot the VAP arrows at the longer distances. But this is just me trialing stuff at the moment. I haven't progressed past this. I've got a tournament tomorrow. Obviously not prepared. I was meant to shoot all this week, but I had non-stop customers in the store, and I was hoping to be shooting all week, but this is where I'm up to. But my long-term thing is I'll start shooting 70 and 90 meters and trialing this. I'll be trialing different arrows. I'll be trialing the really fast arrows like the McKinney's and the Black Eagle X Impacts, which are very light. I'll be trying different points with them. I'll be trialing spin wings. You know, someone said to me, well, maybe spin wings work really well indoors if you go for longer ones. Absolutely. That might be the case. I don't know. I just like put this stuff on and go and shoot scores. But very happy with Pandarus, very happy with this. If I can shoot like that, that's awesome. Anyway, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and just like the more you shoot, the better you'll shoot. Just build muscles, build technique, build strength, build everything, build confidence in yourself, and sort of have a plan on what you're doing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.